Thanks, Miko, for agreeing to participate in the Festival of Resistance. I wonder if you could maybe start by just giving us a little bit of background about your history and what's got you to the point that you're at the moment in terms of the campaigns that you're engaged in.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to speak to you always, Chris. And I'm honored and very pleased to be part of this project, the Festival of Resistance. I think that in my case, I was born and raised and educated in the sphere of the oppressor. I mean, the sphere of the colonizer. That's where I'm from. That's my background. Being an Israeli with a family that was so involved with the creation, the establishment of the state of Israel. That's precisely, I fit that description perfectly. And then I was very fortunate that I was able to cross over from that particular sphere into the sphere of the colonized, of the occupied, and learn about the colonized, and then come to the realizations that I have, which is that there can be no justification, there can be no excuse, there can be no legitimacy given to the colonization of Palestine, to the occupation of Palestine, to the oppression of the Palestinian people. So in short, that was my journey. That's how I went from being a very proud Zionist, the son of an Israeli general, to someone who stands very clearly rejecting Zionism and rejecting the state of Israel. And that's what I do today. I mean, I support every effort to replace the state of Israel with a real democratic, free Palestine. And so to undo the apartheid regime and transform it into a real democracy on all of historic Palestine.
Well, listen, we're delighted that you have agreed to speak at the Festival of Resistance, and I'm sure people will be interested to know why you've agreed actually to participate in this festival in Nottingham on the 16th and 17th of October. Perhaps you could just maybe set out what it was that made you agree to our invitation to speak there.
Well, first of all, I have a great admiration for you and your work. And so when you approached me with something like this, it was very clear to me that I was going to say yes. I think your background, your work, your efforts, your entire history is something that's admirable. And so I'm very pleased and very proud that you approached me. I think that because I was in the UK over the last few years as the vicious campaign by the Zionists against you and others, and against Jeremy Corbyn, of course, I saw it happening, and it was very clear that this was a Zionist strategy. The whole idea of the witch hunt, the whole idea of targeting people of conscience within the Labour Party, people of conscience, people who stand up and speak for Palestine, and not only Palestine, of course, because you do other things. You speak for other issues, as did Jeremy Corbyn and others. And so to stand up and to talk about that and to resist that and to stand up against this, it was a very powerful, and continues to be a very, very powerful strategy, a very, very vicious campaign. Sadly, we saw that they had a great deal of victories. In other words, it was a successful campaign, and they've taken pride in the fact they had a hand, they meaning the Zionists, the state of Israel, had a hand in what has happened to the Labour Party and the defeat of Jeremy and yourself. And so I'm very pleased to be part of this, to stand up and speak to that.
Well, we're pleased to have you, Miko, and I know that you're going to be speaking explicitly about the importance of resisting witch hunts. We have a wide-ranging number of topics that we'll be dealing with, and the theme of the weekend, the theme of the festival, is why resist now. And as you know, Miko, the witch hunt has extended well beyond the Labour Party now. Academics are being targeted up and down the country. A highly respected academic, for example, in the form of Professor David Miller, has just been fired from Bristol University, even though an independent inquiry found that he hadn't contravened the equalities legislation, that he hadn't said anything that was remotely anti-Semitic. And yet Bristol University, because of pressure from the Zionist lobby, from parliamentarians, from a range of different powerful vested interests, they took the cowardly view to say that they were going to fire David on the basis that he hadn't reached or maintained the standards required by Bristol University. So I wonder whether you could maybe just say for those watching this video, Miko, why you think it's important that we make a stand now against witch hunts. Why resist witch hunts at this moment in time?
Well, again, I think, you as an example, again, you've been standing up against the witch hunt for a very long time. It's not starting right now. But the need to stand up is because there is no status quo. In other words, the Zionists are viciously and brutally moving forward with their campaign of smear against good people who dare to stand up against Zionism and dare to stand up for Palestinian rights. And the longer we wait, the more difficult it's going to be, because they are gaining more and more victories. And so to stand up clearly, as you have done, and all the people that you've invited and are going to be part of this event, is crucial. I mean, we need to take a stance. We need to tell people that this is wrong. We need to explain to people why this is wrong. We need to be out there speaking and resisting this vicious campaign, this very, very vicious strategy that the Zionists have put in place.
Thanks very much indeed, anyway, again, for taking the time out at the weekend for us, Miko. We appreciate that. We're looking forward to hearing you speak at the Festival of Resistance in Nottingham on the 16th and 17th of October. Anybody who's watching this video now, if you're interested in hearing Miko speak in more detail, you can do so. Book your ticket. All you have to do is go onto the internet and key in resist.co.uk, and you can book your ticket there. We look forward to seeing you then. Thanks very much.